Welcome back, everyone. I'm Paco.
And I'm Deb. And this is the Real Twin Flame Talk,
where we get real about love and connection.
Welcome to the Real Twin Flame Talk with Paco and Deborah, episode 5.
The coming together.
In the physical.
Yeah, how did we manage to go from knowing we were twin flames to coming and living together under one roof as one?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we are gonna be sharing again my perspective, how it was on my side to work through the challenges of taking an airplane, basically.
Yeah.
30 plus years of living in Argentina in 4 suitcases with a son, all across the ocean, all the way to Austria, to my man. This is for all of you out there saying that the divine masculine comes home. Bullshit. The divine feminine tends to be the one coming home. So, at least in this episode it is.
Exactly.
So, yeah, how this started was basically, and we were sharing that in episode 3 and 4, was us just feeling guided to explore if we were twin flames. Ended up being that we were.
And still are.
Yeah, and will always be.
Exactly.
And how it looked on my end was, I had to, at the beginning, after revealing that Paco was my twin flame, I had to move through a few blocks in being okay with that being the truth of the matter. So I took my space, I took my time, I applied the mirror exercise taught by Jeff and Shelia, because this is the most helpful tool I found in this journey to help me navigate it. So
you had some blocks in receiving the truth, also the mirror that was presented to you.
Yeah, well, of course, like when me having an issue with you being my twin flame meant that I had to look at certain decisions I made, because we are kind of like one at our core, like where we are one conscious being, we are the same. And that meant realizing like, oh, okay, this was not a very nice decision to make, like a choice of fear, basically,
like separation.
Like separation, like manifesting. For me, manifesting my twin flame being in a woman's body was rather challenging. Like I knew at the core this was all about a choice of hiding who I am, and of course having that mirror right there in front of me, very clear. It was a bit of a challenge. So I was not very pleased with the fact that you were my twin at the moment. But as I was sharing in previous episodes, the whole community of Twin Flames universe was very helpful and supportive. And when I moved through that, like big fat block, like we sometimes call it in the community, it was very obvious. Like I've been meaning to move to Germany. My twin flame is living in Austria. I already have my citizenship, my passport, which allows me to be in the European Union without being deported after 3 months. And I was like, doesn't make any sense. First of all, it doesn't make any sense. Like I've been begging for my twin flame for like forever, especially in the years that I was embracing the teachings of union. And here I am. I know who this person is. It made absolute no sense to me to say, oh, you know what? I don't want this. I'm gonna stay where I'm at. I was like, no, okay, I want to be with my man. Do I move to Germany? No. Like if we are twin flames, it makes absolutely no sense for me that we are living like separately. So for me, the next step was basically start looking for flights and see how I could manage this during still the pandemic, because in Argentina, this was around our autumn/winter. And it was still at the time where like borders between countries were opening and closing depending on how much numbers. Yeah, exactly, like what the weather was like, and the whether it was like winter and therefore a higher risk of having like flu and such. So after moving through the first challenge of receiving you as my twin flame, the next challenge came really easily after realizing, like, yeah, I just want to live with him. I don't want to be anywhere else. And it was pretty much coordinating when to come, because of course it's not like, oh, you know what, I'm taking the flight tomorrow, and yeah, I just drop in your home and then we'll see. Especially when you have a child in the middle, like you have to have certain stuff relatively handled. It's not just like, oh, I just grab a backpack and that's it.
And you have to do with every step along the way in a healing work. That is how it functions on the twin flame.
Yeah, that's like, it's almost like a given to me. But yeah, that's true. So I had to get clear. But I started just basically looking at flights. No, I'm lying. I was still on my way to my appointment in the Polish embassy to actually have my passports in my hand.
Yeah, I remember.
So I had to do my inner work about having my passports, because of course every time that I am about to receive something very good or very cool, I get like triggered that something will happen and I will not get it. And I remember it was the 5th of May at 15:15. I had my appointment at the embassy to just collect my and my kids' passport.
Wonderful sign. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, I remember sharing that with you, like on Messenger. I'm on my way to the embassy, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, it was very beautiful,
That
yes.
was a very cool
Experience,
moment, yes.
Yeah. You were sending me then the picture of your passport.
Oh, I was happy as a clam when I had those passports. I had been fighting for those for like 5 years at that point. And it seemed like I will never get it, and I finally got it. And it was very interesting to see that I got them after we revealed each other.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And because in April, in the 24th of April.
No, we actually Googled that. Don't be shy. Like, we actually Googled that in our messenger chat, like, when did we reveal each other?
Yeah.
It was April 24th.
Yeah.
And after that, like, I knew that I was getting my passports after revealing each other, because otherwise I would have still gone to Germany. So there was no purpose for me there anymore. That was kind of like the carrot in front of my nose so that I can keep going on the journey and didn't give up. But it was clear that once you were my twin flame, like, the only thing that made sense was just to move in with you.
So kind of everything, all the pieces fall into place after.
It was unbelievable. We revealed each other and kind of like everything started to fall into place, kind of like in a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
And we started getting clear, like, how we were gonna make the arrangements to live together, what was necessary. We were working through having like a desk for me. I remember you were like sending me all these pictures of desks that I would choose mine. That I would have a place to work when I was with you. And like, of course, that was all a process. And while you were doing that, kind of like arranging the apartment to have enough place to receive me and Dante, I was basically just looking for flights. With my passports in my hand, I was just like looking at flights and getting clear, like, okay, when would it be the best time to fly there? But I didn't want to choose something in a rush because I was afraid that the borders would be closed and we wouldn't be allowed to fly as often as it was up until that point, while it was still summer in Argentina. And it was, I don't remember specifically which day, but I remember it was at the end of May or beginning of June, somewhere along the lines. And like, that was it. It took a few phone calls with the airline to get that arranged. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. At the end of May, we fly there, and that's it. And I was like, okay, it's just like moving through my feelings on the upcoming weeks. And then the moment came. I was like, okay, 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, we got up, every suitcase was packed. We had everything ready, went to the airport. And at that time, we have to take the PCR test thing before hopping on the plane. Everyone was like making sure nobody was flying anywhere if they had any positive outcome of the virus, I don't even remember the COVID virus thing. and I got positive, and I was like, what the man?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Like, how? I
Yeah.
stopped taking, because it was very flexible, I stopped taking Dante to school, and we were kind of like doing homework online, so that I didn't have to drive with him on the public bus, and therefore, of course, like maybe get the virus. And I was like, okay. I sort of did that before taking the flight, and now I'm in the airport, and you're telling me that I'm tested positive. Like, are you f***ing me?
I know, it was kind of
I was like, I hate this so much.
I felt it, yeah, it was.
And I was lucky enough that the guy I was staying with an Airbnb at the moment in Buenos Aires was flexible enough to understand the situation and had us back. And he was like, yeah, that's okay, you can stay there as long as you need to, that's fine. Like, he kind of was very understanding. So I was basically just dragging my 4 suitcase and my key all the way back to the apartment, and basically stayed locked down in like 2 weeks, and arranging how to manage that, because I couldn't go groceries, and my kid was like, what, 6, 7 years old. Of course, he's not gonna go grocery shopping alone in a big city like Buenos Aires. And we were talking with Paco, and of course we were both like upset about it. It was like we were really building up to it, and I was like, oh, okay, and now what? And I remember you wanted to talk to me about it and like move through our feelings, and I was just like, I feel like, man, I just want to rest. I don't want to talk. Stop talking to me. No.
It's exactly how it was.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, I needed to give her the space, I remember. I
Yeah.
needed to give her space, yeah.
Yeah, we were able to move through it with our coaches. I was kind of like still going to the sessions with the mask on. I remember it was a little freaky. But that was pretty much it. Like, there was nothing to do in those 2 weeks other than just move through the feelings, and a lot of fear was coming up because the situation in Buenos Aires with the COVID thing was rather poorly handled. So I was getting like, I was freaking out. Like, am I going to lose my smell? Am I going to lose my taste? Is this going to get worse and I will not find out until it's too late? Because nobody was coming to check on me, even though I was kind of like constantly calling the hotline. And they were like, no, as long as you don't have more than this fever and like symptoms don't develop any further, you're okay. And I was like, are you So I had to work through that. It was like, we had this tendency in our family that symptoms were not what they were looking like. Like, it always looked like it was nothing, and then it turned out to be something very shitty. Like, it happened with my father, it happened with my mom. And I was like, okay, is it gonna happen to me too with this crappy virus thing? So, but nothing happened. Like, the 2 weeks went by, we worked through it, we were talking to the best of our abilities without killing each other at a distance. And I was also kind of like, okay, do I make, do I change the flights again? Because of course, when you change that, you have to pay a fee, and I wanted to make it as less messy as possible, also money-wise. And I was like, okay, should I wait for the test to come negative to book the flights? And I was like, moving also through that. And I kind of like settled on a date that could not fail.
Kind of lot of feelings to feel through. Also, these experiences got triggered from your father and mother you shared. You
yeah, it was quite a lot of crap to kind of like really move through. But it is also true that when you're manifesting like your physical union, this means that you have to heal through a lot of layers of separation probably that are still standing there. So of course a lot would be brought up. At least that was kind of like my experience.
The rest of the separation.
Yeah, whatever little piece was necessary to release, that we can come together. And of course we still work through releasing even more separation, moving together, like closer together.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like the piece that was necessary. And well, the day came after 14 days. I just went, took the test. Yeah, you're negative. And I was like, okay, let's hope that this stays like this until I hop on a plane.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, 4 or 5 more days from this point that we had the flight scheduled. And then we have to go through the exact same experience all over again. All the way to the airport, all the way to taking the test, all the way to waiting for the result to come out negative, and only then I could do the check-in. And I remember I was like, please God, let it be negative, no more surprises, please. I don't want any more surprises. I just want to hop on the plane. I want to leave this place once and for all, because that's what I've been working towards like for many, many years. And the test result came into my mail, negative. And I was like, yes. I was like checking in, dispatching the suitcases. Oh man, you have an overweight. You have to pay like $400. I don't care. There's the money. I don't care. Just take my bags. Just dispatch them, put them in the plane. I don't care anymore. And that was pretty much it. Then it was sitting and moving through the 13-hour flight all the way to Austria, basically. We were flying with this airline, so we stopped in Paris, L'amour. And yeah, of course, also like it was constantly moving through something, either the fear that the plane will go down or that we will miss our connection. Everything worked perfectly. It was so miraculous that even when we came to Vienna, there were so many people coming through the airport that at some point nobody was like checking anymore whether you had the test in your hand or whatever. They were just like, yeah, just go. And I was like, okay. And that was it. Like, it was the easiest way in possible. Nobody was putting any resistance at that point. I was like, yeah, just go.
Yeah.
Grab your bags and be on your way. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And there was like, okay, now because dragging the 4 bags and put them in so that they take it on the airplane is easy. But when you have to pick them up and leave the airport, that's the tricky part when you're alone and you have a kid. So I was like, oh my God, how the flip am I gonna put all this in this cart thing that you can drag your stuff around without like breaking my back into 30 pieces? And there weren't many people either. And there was this man who was very kind to help me with the bags. So it was kind of like a godsend. Nobody was around. I was looking at my bags and I was like, I don't know, am I gonna drag this for stuff out the airport at this point? And he was like, do you need a hand? Yeah. You speak English? Yes. Oh, great. Yeah, can you help me put this like one on top of the other?
Oh, that's sweet.
He was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And that was pretty much it. That's all the help I needed. And then I started like going with my car, a little nervous because I would meet my twin like face to face for the first time. I was like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I would do. And yeah, I just came out the gate and there he was holding a little. Now I don't remember now. I know it was just a flower. You had one flower in your hand, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. I thought he was gonna have like a bouquet of flowers. I was like, he came with just one flower. And like, okay, are we that poor? I think, okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm just tired. I just wanna go home. I don't care if he has a flower or a full bouquet. I don't care.
These expectations.
Yeah. I think we were also both very nervous.
Yeah, of course.
So
never function on your twin flame journey.
expectations, no, never. So yeah, it was basically we did our best to kind of like take a deep breath and ground. It was like a lot. We were tired from the flight. Paco was tired from the 3+ hours of driving from where he was living to Vienna. This is kind of like a long stretch. And then driving all the way back, because it was yet another 3 more hours. So we were kind of like in the middle of summer. It was kind of like hot. I was like, okay, just put everything in the car. We will sit there. He had like this whole lunch stuff packed. We had like everything, fruit, snacks, sandwiches. And we got hungry in the way we had something to eat. And we made it. It was like that 3-hour-long ride home. We were doing our best to kind of like chill and relax and do our best because, of course, it's like we wanted to catch up so much.
A lifetime.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like a lot of, like 30-something years. It was a lot. And at the same time, we needed it to also, I needed to take a shower. I need to actually like eat a proper meal, like the basic stuff.
Basic, normal stuff.
Yeah. And at some point, I remember I didn't even give to flying if the suitcases were still in the car. And Paco was like, no, I can drag them. I was like, how are you gonna drag these suitcases? For me, they were heavy as like 2 floors on like by stairs, because there was no elevator, like no lift. And for me, it's very easy with a lift. But I was like, I'm not gonna drag these 2 stairs. I did this at that point. It was 5 years ago, 3 years ago. And I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I did that throughout my trip with my kid to Germany for 3 months, where I was dragging my suitcase up and down stairs in different places. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And he was like, no, I can do it. I was like, are you sure? Because this is heavy as They are not really that heavy. And I was like, am I dating Hercules? For him, it was
Just
like
in a woman's body.
Well, you did like disguising up until some point.
Well, strength comes from the inside.
Oh, thank God you don't want to like disguise yourself as a woman anymore. That's a relieving thing. So he was just carrying the backpacks, and then I think we had a shower. We ate something, but not like a big deal. We just ate whatever was there, and that was pretty much it. I feel like we relaxed after. Of course, I came into the apartment. He was like a puppy, because in truth, he was very good at surprising me. Actually, there was the bouquet of flowers, and I remember it was like a chocolate and a little box, and it was the necklace that you gave me with a little rose quartz and a kitten. I don't know how to call the thing that hangs in the necklace. And I was like, oh, I feel so loved. Like, my man received me with flowers, chocolate, and jewelry.
Yeah, the mirror.
Like, it cannot get any better.
The mirror of your self-love you did for years before, no?
Yeah, of course. Like, this was being cultivated for years. But it's nice. It's nice coming to a new place, and it's nice seeing your man receive you with such wonderful tokens of appreciation. Because, yeah, it's nice. And I'm a woman. I like receiving jewelry, and I like receiving flowers, and I like receiving chocolates. That's kind of like 3 of my favorite stuff. So it was all there. I thought that this dude came with 1 flower to the airport, and he actually had the cool surprise was at home. So I feel like he didn't want to overwhelm me.
Exactly.
So that was a very cool thing. And that's how it was for me, manifesting our physical union. Like, how it was for me to work through the challenges and feel like I can finally kind of like come home and relax. And it felt like that. The moment I walked through the door, it was like, oh, I made it finally. And I was like, okay, now I can relax. And yeah, that was the beginning of our new chapter in just creating a life together and living as a family too, because for you it was new. You don't have kids from a previous relationship. I was kind of like bringing that gift to you.
Yeah, no, we will talk about that, of course, in our further episodes in this podcast. So,
how it was for Paco to receive us.
So if you don't want to miss any episodes, subscribe to our podcast and you don't miss any further episodes. And how it was for me to come...
I think we will have to wait and see for the next one.
And how was it for me to manifest my physical twin flame union? What did I do when Deborah was healing through her upsets in Buenos Aires, not being able to take the flight? What did I do here in Austria? Sitting around and waiting, or maybe I did something else. You will
find out
in the next episode. Thank you for listening, and hear you soon.
And that's our time for today. Remember to keep that flame alive. Join us next time on The Real Twin Flame Talk.